I'm back, and I somehow managed to survive doing 20 map runs using only the gear I've gotten from doing 100 hell cow runs. It was a real bastard, but I did manage to land some decent upgrades. My 25-minute map runs only take 24 minutes to complete now. My goal is to complete a total of 60 map runs before throwing myself at Ubers, hoping I don't explode into a level 1 sorceress. I covered the first 20 runs in the previous video, and this video will cover yet another 20 runs, with each boss pack being made entirely out of Cursed Might Aura. A cursory glance at my gear will tell you that Thunderstrokes absolutely rejects the notion of being found in any reasonable capacity. I'm also using some plus skill gloves, as well as a Dwarf Star, and a Thunder Gods that I found at Nightmare Cows, Ravenfrost, water walks that are incapable of being destroyed thanks to its corruption, a crafted blood amulet that thankfully rolled some skills, and Dariel's Visage because I'm apparently a psychopath for wearing a smelly demon face, a shaft stop that slammed 3 sockets for no reason at all, and a storm shield that also slammed 3 sockets for no reason at all. I managed to roll a +6 CTA for my swap. This CTA also adds dramatic effect for when I inevitably die horribly on this Amazon. And Wall of the Eyeless because I have absolutely no plus skill shields whatsoever. After going over my gear in the footage, I needed to threaten both of my Ravenfrosts with a slam in the magical demon box. The first Ravenfrost slammed for some extra dexterity, and the other slammed for 10% reduced curse duration. I couldn't complain about that at all. Strangely enough, my 28 dexterity Ravenfrost actually gave quite a bit more block chance than my Dwarf Star did. I had entirely too much dexterity, but I was sitting comfortably at 68% chance to block. I wasn't even shooting for max block with this build, but I was very close to it. Block chance allows me to run directly into huge cow packs, so I welcomed it. Unfortunately, I am ahead level-wise from where I left off in the previous video. Due to me being born without a brain, I accidentally deleted some footage while deleting older, already used footage in order to clear up space, so I went back to square one. I didn't find any major upgrades for this Lightning Strike Javazon anyway, so it wasn't a huge loss. I'll be okay, just as long as I don't find any rare ceremonial javelin. Okay, fair enough, game. I deserve that one. But anyway, I just wanted to clear all that up. Now it's time for me to run straight into Fanaticism packs. On the second map, I dropped a unique battle belt. This ended up being Snow Clash. It tragically rolled +1 on the skills, but it did add 7 max to cold resistance. I jammed a shard inside of it, and it got some extra cold resistance on it. I'll likely wear this belt while I'm stabbing Rothma in the face. Sadly, I was already on my 4th map and my luck was feeling pretty rough. I thought maybe running straight into Might Aura mobs would improve my luck. Shortly after that, I found a unique Grimhelm, which ended up being the classic Vampire Gaze. It rolled a very solid 20% on the damage reduction. It went straight to Wahid because he's definitely earned it, and I know he won't betray me anytime soon. He's faithful. He is a faithful companion who will never betray me. Not long after Vampire Gaze, an ethereal giant thresher dropped. It was Stormspire, and it was the best possible weapon I could have asked for without sacrificing 2 burr runes to Satan. Since the mercenary already had a Stormspire, I made the intelligent decision to start colliding atoms in the Horadric Cube. The first Stormspire rolled 10 faster cast rate, which is definitely not increased attack speed. The other one also slammed for faster cast rate along with poison damage. Still, on the same map, a unique amulet dropped. It turned out to be Nokazan, an amulet that added more cynicism towards my view of finding unique jewelry. On run number 6, I decided to give a tier 3 Blood Moon map a try. It was only a blue map, but the map still contained cows, and those cows do an absurd amount of physical damage. I was feeling just slightly anxious about it, but it's like when you find a Blood Moon map, you have to run it, you know? I got the absolute shit slapped out of me. I'm maxed out on damage reduction, and some of these cow packs can still kill me in 3 shots. The video game was making it clear that my behavior was going to be the death of me someday, but the run went okay otherwise. I show this run off because this marked a turning point. I could definitely pull off Blood Moon maps, so long as I approached it the right way. Things were still pretty dry lately, but I did drop a unique map on run number 8. It turned out to be Czar's Sanctum, a map that guarantees a charm with plus skills on it, as well as a massive boost to charm drops. Getting skillers is a real bastard on solo self-found, but this map is absolutely terrifying, and I would hold off on doing this one for quite a while. Speaking of skillers, I picked up a Grand Charm that identified as a cult skiller. This proves that the video game was acting maliciously against my Amazon. I violently ignored the shade being thrown at me and continued playing my non-sorceress Amazon class. Still, on the same run, I ended up dropping a unique jewel, which will definitely be a lightning facet and, well, actually it was a fire facet. It rolled -5 on the fire res. Someday I'll use this thing just so I can see a meteor drop whenever I die. After killing the Cockroach King on run number 9, I dropped a unique Grand Charm as well as a pure demonic essence. The Geeds ended up being a 39, and I genuinely don't know how I keep finding these high roll Geeds. The Essence was also important because it's actually the first one I've ever gotten. The reason for that is I was now only just starting to kill bosses on a regular basis in these runs. On run 10, I dropped a unique Bone Visage after punching several demons in the face. This was Giant Skull, and it rolled with a fantastic 79 enhanced damage. I'd be happy to have this one if I were playing any physical build. But I was especially happy when I slammed it into a 2-socketed bricked rare. I ended up getting a Horizon event, which opened up a second map into Fall of Chaldeum. Even though it's technically 2 maps, I usually count these as 1 map, since this bonus map was part of an event. I ended up dropping a unique Highland Blade, which ID'd into a Lorix Mithril Bane. It had +3 paladin skills, 280 enhanced damage, and absolutely no deadly strike whatsoever. Then, I slammed it for 25% deadly strike. Suddenly, Wahid betrayed me because he thought I was the one who put our Brita water filter in the fridge without refilling it. I told him I would never do such an evil thing. I told him it was probably his girlfriend. We had stabbed each other repeatedly, but we made amends shortly after that. Then, on run 12, a unique demon head dropped. It was another Andariel's Visage, which was an outstanding helm for my good friend Wahid. But I kind of, sort of, maybe bricked it. He wasn't going to be happy about that one. Later in that same run, I heard the sound of coins being counted nearby. It was Geed, and he was standing smack in the middle of a huge pack of cows, which isn't suspicious in the slightest. I also picked up a Grand Charm that identified into a Poison and Bone Skiller with 16 life. The first thing I bought from Geed was a Dark Force Spawn, which I ended up slamming it for 7 MDR. Next, it was a Cultist Gauntlets, which slammed for 13 cold resistance. I also landed another Leoric Sword. This time, it was a +4 with 295 enhanced damage and absolutely no faster cast rate whatsoever. Then, I slammed it for faster cast rate as well as some lightning skill damage. And still on that same run, I dropped a unique Templar coat, which ended up being Guardian Angel. It seemed to roll pretty decently. I also picked up a set pair of Bramble Mitts for my mercenary. The Guardian Angel ended up slamming with 33,000 cold resistance, and the Laying of Hands slammed for some extra gold for monsters. On run 13, I dropped a unique Kraken Shell. This was the famously green Leviathan, which is the perfect armor for my mercenary, especially with Vampire Gaze. Then I slammed it, which caused a nuclear accident, mutating Leviathan into a rare. I returned to cows for run number 14, and I managed to drop a unique Shaco. This identified into being Shaco, which is personally my favorite item to find. It rolled 5% damage reduction and 42 magic find. Then, I immediately found a unique War Belt. This was my second Thunder Gods, which is perfect because now I was feeling good about slamming my best in slot belt. The new T-Gods rolled +6 to max lightning res. I immediately jammed it into my stupid Demon Cube and slammed it for +2 max res on everything. I didn't deserve it in the slightest. The other T-Gods, the one I found in Nightmare Cows, exploded painfully. I knew that was going to happen. I got the Horizon event once again, which is always exciting. After inflicting brutal violence on his face, he opened a portal to the Throne of Insanity. While I like this map a lot, my problem with it is it's inhabited entirely with cursed fanaticism archers, and there was no way I was going to try it, even with max damage reduction. Anytime I see a dead body impaled on a spike, the thing I always like to do is put my hands on it in search of treasure. This body had a unique amulet, which is definitely an Okazan, but it was actually a 30 Maras. My brain compelled me to wear it immediately. The resistance was tremendously helpful because not only was I maxed out on res, but I could even switch out some resistance charms with life ones and still maintain max res. I was still finding good uniques on map 14 because cows are fair and completely balanced. This time I found unique vampire bone gloves. These are the famous Dracul's Grasp. These Dracula-themed gloves slammed with replenished life, and even though it's not the best slam, it still feels thematically appropriate for some reason, I don't know. I identified a Necro Summon skiller with faster run walk on map 15. Maybe I've been playing too much Amazon lately, but I really do enjoy the faster run walk stat. On run 16, I immediately found a unique Hyperion. I seem to find this shield a lot. It's possible that I'll even try to do something with it on a paladin, because it's slammed for +4 max poison res. I started run 17 as a fresh level 92, and these stupid mobs congratulated me by throwing a unique Thresher at my mercenary. This was a Reaper's Toll, and even though it's extremely non-ethereal, it's still a fun thing to find. And then it died forever because the Horadric Cube is clearly the devil's creation. Shortly after Satan killed my Reaper's Toll, a unique T2 map dropped. This ended up being the Fallen Gardens, a map that guarantees a rainbow facet, which is exactly the thing I need to get even the slightest amount of Lightning Pierce. I figured face tanking every single attack by the boss would be a good idea, and it turned out to be the best idea ever. He went down and he dropped a unique jewel. This one identified into the exact opposite of a lightning facet. This was a cold facet with -3 cold res and 5% cold damage. Better luck next time. On run 19, DoorDash had delivered Satan on top of a Fanaticism multi-shot archer pack. I do like getting these Dark Wanderer events because I get a lot of World Stone shards out of these. Well, I usually get more than 2, but you know what I mean. Later on in the same map, my loot filter exploded when I got a low rune to drop. This was refreshing for me to see because my rune drops had been feeling a little tragic lately. I had a total of 2 low runes at this point. Even though Wahid totally deserves to have a fortitude made for him, I held off just a little longer on that in case I needed to use my low runes for something else. I possibly might need them to cube up to a Sur to then cube up to a Burr, or even socket them for max lightning res for the Lucian fight. I'm definitely totally not holding a grudge on Wahid for betraying me earlier or anything. No, everything's totally fine. I thought it would be a fun idea to do the final run of the video in a high-density cow map where every cow does splash damage. I like to make my summons do the tanking for me, but splash damage would completely throw that concept out of the window. It honestly wasn't that bad at all, and I was hardly taking damage anyway. Also, I managed to identify a nice Ruby Jewel of Carnage with 39% ED and 15 max damage. I came back for a few cow packs I missed and managed to drop a unique Bloodlord skull. It was my second Dark Force spawn. I stuck the shriveled severed head into the Horadric Cube because that's a perfectly normal thing for a human being to do. I slammed it for 3 entire sockets, a nice slam for the final unique. And that concludes yet another round of 20 maps completed by the hardcore solo self-found Amazon. Venturing into tier 3 cow maps was definitely a risky move, but as it turns out, running into extra strong Fanaticism cow packs that can 3-shot me can be occasionally rewarding. I was also starting to really go after bosses, which is important for getting materials for Declone. I'll be shooting for another round of 20 maps before going into Ubers and getting one-shot by Mephisto's Charged Bolt. I still wasn't able to find those bastard Thunderstrokes, but I did manage to find some pretty big upgrades. The new Thunder Gods with +2 max all res slam and the Perfect Mars were very nice additions to the gear. The past couple of videos really exceeded my expectations, and you guys have been very supportive. Once again, a huge thanks to you guys. I do work full time and my schedule doesn't always allow me to upload on a consistent basis, but I am planning to upload videos on PD2 even after the series concludes. If you enjoyed the video, do consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Be sure to check out the other videos on this series, which I will show on screen now. Thank you guys once again, and stay safe.